Alrighty, we are finally live and running. Make sure everything here is set and ready for the stream. Let's go here and we'll get this posted. Alrighty, we should be all up and running now. Mahadi, what's up? Real World Motivation, boss. What is up? Good morning. Can you guys hear me well? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Just want to make sure. Alright, Bias, howdy, howdy. Alrighty, so we're about to get into some New York AM session here relatively soon. Currently watching NASDAQ and ES for this trade as well. So, Brett, Yard, Leo, Stelios, Max, Brett, howdy, howdy, good morning. Let me know if you guys can hear me well. Just going to get into some New York AM session here. Give me a few minutes to get this all set up, guys, and we'll get started on some live trading here. Sweet. Good morning. You can barely hear me? Oh, low volume? All right, let me turn that up. 1 second, guys. My apologies. Let me know is this a little better or no? I'm on some headphone mics right now, so I'm trying to get it all sort of situated pre-market before we get started on some analysis. I'll get live chat open here as well. Joel, Emily, Stelios, low volume. Okay. Entered longs here at the 50%. Very nice, Emily. Joel, what's up? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Is CT going to add S&P to his indicator? Who knows, Mahdi? We will see. I have no idea. Not the accent I expected. What do you mean by that? Alrighty, so what did we see? We had CPI at 8:30 this morning. Many of you that may have not known, we had CPI at 8:30, had a very aggressive bullish run up into this 23,814 high. What did we do as well? Well, London and Asia session today were quite the accumulation phase. We had accumulation during Asia. Pre-London actually manipulated, caused a short signature. London then had a reversal off of pre-London, which then caused a wider range consolidation. Now, what did we see pre-CPI? Well, we created a C3 and a C2 change in state of delivery, causing an expansion higher here. So right now, what am I watching? Well, we're currently below the previous 30-minute as well as I believe the previous hourly equilibrium. We're actually bouncing off the previous hourly equilibrium right now. So for this 9 o'clock, 9:30 open, honestly staying off the saddle right now, would want to see one side of the range get swept, maybe even potentially take a continuation trade higher off this bullish signature from the C4 expansion. So kind of what I'm watching for right now. We will see what exactly happens. But yeah, honestly just going to sit back in the saddle for right now. Pre-CPI and post-CPI now moving into New York Open is not something I'm typically interested in trading, but we will see, we will see. Alright, yeah, so stream is up and running, which is good. So yeah, here right now we had a retrace into the previous hourly equilibrium. Now what are we seeing? We are seeing a micro accumulation pre-9:30. We have 10 minutes before New York session, so hoping to see an accumulation. Maybe we manipulate one of the lows, one of these internal lows here prior to creating some expansion higher. Because right now we are forming the wick of the following hourly candle, being the 9 o'clock hourly. Still low volume. Okay, let me see if I can fix that. Sorry about that, guys. All right, I have it up a lot more now. Let me see if I can also bring my mic to my face. Maybe that'll help a little bit. All right, should be, this is like directly on my face now, so this should be a little louder. Let me know if that's better. Good morning, Netazim. What is up? Good morning as well. Should be a little better. We'll see. Good. All right, awesome. Volume is good. Leo, question for you. I heard some people say GC inverse MNQ is something you believe that, let's say ES made a C2 then SysT, but NQ didn't make C2, only the SysT. Which one will you take? Let me answer that in just 1 second. Let's go through this pre-analysis, and I'll go into some questions. Perfect. Awesome. It's better. Great. Hello from the UK. This is Nat Media. Howdy, howdy. Good morning. Leo, how to see New York is going to be reversal even if Asia London formed higher time frame order block and fair value gap shows Better, still low for me. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm on the headphones right now. I have it as pretty much as high as I can get it, so I don't know what's happening there. You might have to adjust the YouTube volume. All right, let me just quickly look at that question again. Mahadi, what I would be looking for in a situation like that is to find some type of SMTs of the highs or the low, right? If one formed a SIST and the other one didn't, typically I would trade the lagging asset, which would most likely be the one that did not form the change in state of delivery. Good, awesome, better, still low. So Sheena, it all depends on the profiles, right? You don't really know until the sessions play out. Like if you have a Asia accumulation, then London manipulates Asia on one side and creates an expansion lower, then you know that it's a London reversal off of an Asia session or just a London manipulation, which caused London to create some range, whether it's a bullish or bearish leg. Then you move into New York, and if New York manipulates, let's say London has a bearish leg, New York manipulates the low of London and then forms a SIST reversal signature, then that is considered a New York reversal signature. But if it does not do that, then we can anticipate that it is going to be a London continuation if it respects the 50% of London's move and then creates some confirmation lower. Going to grab some headphones? Yeah, sorry guys, I don't know why it's slow. Let me check it really quick. Yeah, I mainly trade the New York AM session. I also have been trading London session recently because I am in Europe. So that's kind of been the go-to recently. What's your thoughts on NQ? Just give a little bit of pre-market analysis. NQ, what did we see happen this morning as well as ES? We had CPI at 830. We caused a bullish leg higher into this 23,814. Currently no SMT at the highs between NAS and ES. We have actually we have nope, no SMT at the highs right now with NASDAQ and ES. We are pulling into the hourly equilibrium that was caused from that 8 o'clock CPI move. So for myself right now, honestly just waiting to see if New York manipulates one side of the range or if we get some rejection off of the EQ causing a continuation signature higher on NASDAQ. It's good. What's your thoughts? Sounds fine. Awesome, awesome. What's the best way to determine direction of price for New York session? I have so many videos going over that, so I'd highly recommend checking out the YouTube videos. Let's say price retraces into a fair value gap, but it disrespects it basically by closing below it, and the next candle goes up and creating an opposing candle. If an expansion met with an expansion can still be a validation of a fair value gap, but it's a matter of if you have a strong closure below a fair value and then a micro closure back into the fair value, that for me wouldn't be a trade candle. If I was met with a strong bearish closure below and then a strong bullish closure back above, that's called an expansion met with an expansion. That would be a validation of a fair value gap for myself. Are you going to trade GC also? I am looking at GC. What is the indicator on the right that shows higher time frame? This is the T-Trades fractal model, the TTFM indicator. So what's the bias for myself? Honestly, ideally would like to see, for myself, I would like to see the New York session, so the 8 o'clock open, be swept out and then get some continuation signature higher. But if we respect the equilibrium, I am looking for a long bias higher. Right now, I honestly don't see indices going lower. So for myself, I mean, the higher time frame on the hourly as well as the daily for these higher time frames on the right is showing some bullish bias. Would like to see a closure over some previous highs too. So a retrace into the daily EQ would be ideal prior to looking for some bullish signature higher. So just to map this out for you guys, pull into the daily EQ and then see some type of continuation signature higher. That is my current bias on the day. SMT on lows. New York didn't sweep London lows. It did not. Correct. Hey Jay, what's up? Good morning. How you feeling? I have had better days. Not gonna lie. I have for those of you that don't know, gotten a bit of a cliff jumping accident. So I have 4 bruised ribs on my left. So I'm currently laying flat on my bed on this stream on some medication. So I'm not feeling the best. So I apologize if I run out of breath or I am not as energetic this stream. I'm going to try my best, guys, since it's my first YouTube stream in a while, but we are not doing the sharpest today. C2 and C4 stands for candle 2 and candle 4. Is that a valid entry for you? That would be a valid entry for myself. Are hourly EQs off of news candles valid? EQs are still EQs. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's more manipulated if it's news data, but you don't really know if it's a valid EQ until market pulls into it. I mean, if we reject off of an EQ quite aggressively, then you know that the EQ acts as some type of support or resistance. And so in this example, we're still in premium. We're pulling back into the premium of this bullish leg, which could mean some type of a continuation. So yeah, guys, apologies if I'm a little off this stream. So if you see a reversal signature and you want to trade the continuation, do you wait for fair value? Yeah, I like to wait typically for inversions or fair values. See candle 3, pull into it, create an internal protected high or an internal swing, and then trade the C3 change in state of delivery. Can you share GC view? GC I haven't done analysis on yet. Honestly, GC is not looking like anything special for myself right now. Previous hourly candles were kind of a mess, so I'm really not interested in it right now, to be so frank with you. Boys, I'm running out of breath. Whew. You should do these lives more often. You're the best, in my opinion, with Kane and the other Leo. I really appreciate that, Panos. Thank you for that. What is the significance of candle 2 and candle 4? Candle 2 is the candle that typically causes the sweep and then causes the primary change in state of delivery. C3 causes the expansion. C4 can also cause the expansion or just what I mean by expansion is a continuation. Rest up, man. Markets will be here. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm no pressure for myself today. Just going to take it easy and hang out. You know, that's kind of the gameplay with myself. One thing we do have here on NAS and ES though is we do have this SMT that formed at the lows. So this is one thing that did validate the long signature here. So just letting you guys know. I also realize you can't see my crosshair, so let's make this a little simpler for you guys. So here we have this SMT that formed at the lows as well prior to this long signature pre-CPI. So we're just going to mark these both out as our SMT. Wishing you speedy recovery. I appreciate it, Rami. Thank you. What time do you consider for Asia session and London session? I'll show you on the charts right now. You ready? Ready? You ready? London session, 2 o'clock up until 5 o'clock. Asia session, 8 o'clock until 12 o'clock. New York session, 8 o'clock until, take a guess, do the math. You guys know New York session. Don't answer too many questions, just comment on price action to save yourself a breath. Yeah, I mean, right now it's pre-market. We've got 1 minute. So New York Open, I'll be answering less questions. CL continuation to previous day low. Let's see what CL's looking like. Oil was weak when I looked at it. Yeah, oil is honestly looking pretty primed to go lower here. We have some major draws at these lows I'm interested in it hitting, so I'm just going to mark those out. These nice draws at 63.11 that I'm really interested in. All right, New York Open is in 10 seconds here, so we'll see what happens with market. If we get an aggressive closure below this EQ, we're officially into the discount, no longer the premium of this previous move. So I will be potentially looking at sweeps of the daily equilibrium. Rami, I appreciate it. How are we all doing though? What's our one goal for the day? What's our one goal for the day? If you guys haven't as well, feel free to like the stream. I know I'm answering some of your questions and you guys haven't even those people have answered your questions. You haven't even liked the stream yet. You know? All right, there's New York Open. Not surprised if we have a pretty crummy New York Open. We did have CPI at 8:30, so we will just see what happens here. Yeah, very, very, very non-aggressive 5-minute New York Open. Oh my gosh. Yeah, as expected or post CPI, right? So that makes the most sense. Wow, guys, this is a very, very crummy New York Open. We are respecting the previous hourly equilibrium, but alrighty, we are officially rejecting off of the EQ here, or we're now closing below the EQ. Got 3 minutes into this New York Open, very non-aggressive once again. GC 5 minute looks good and 30 minute as well. If this candle closes above the down close candles and confirms a 60, would you enter the trade or wait for next 4 hour? Preferably I would wait for next 4 hour right now because you see ES is still respecting the previous daily EQ, NASDAQ is not, so we are currently forming an SMT at these lows. So I'm not interested in looking for shorts when I see an SMT, which is exactly what I am watching right now, unfold live on stream. You see? So when we have an SMT forming here, I'm not interested in looking for SMT at the lows. I'm not interested for looking into shorts right now, especially, I mean, here we are, right? That's exactly what's happening. Oh boy, sorry guys. Not in my prime today. I really do apologize again. We also, just for the sake of CPI, we are pulling into this fair value here too. We're currently consolidating in the 50% marker of that fair value. CL here, yeah, there goes CL open at 9:30 as well. Nothing super crazy. Let's see what GC is looking like on higher time frame. 5 minute reject off of the EQ back below into premium. 30 minute. Yeah, GC here is still looking like a slow grind, so anticipating GC to go lower. Hourly rejecting off of massive fair value gap here. So, ooh, wait, that's a no trade for me right now. Yeah, we'll see how this 5 minute opens. This is a very, very non-aggressive New York Open. So currently just no reason to be trading this at all because you would have no bias on this trade. You would just be trading for gambling purposes if you took this trade right now. So just to make you all aware of that, right? There we go. ES and NQ are now forming. We have this internal SIST here pulled into the EQ. So if we get a closure above here, I could be interested in looking long. And I would put my stop at the low of the the candle that respected the EQ. So I would do something along the lines of this, targeting a 2R. And if we get a greater expansion higher, like a much bigger expansion, I could look to use, I would maybe even manage my risk by putting my stop at this bearish candle wick low. But this would be an ideal potential setup for myself. Would you consider longs in previous 1 hour candle as targets? Correct. Previous 1 hour candle would, since we have SMT. Yes, I would. If we get a closure above here, we validate the SMT on NASDAQ and yes. So we looks like in the next 10 seconds, we're definitely going to get an confirmation of the SMT. And so ES would be your asset that you would want to trade. So apologies about that. You'd want to most likely trade ES because it is the lagging asset in the pair. And so here we're probably going to get a retrace into lower, or we might just get an expansion higher. Once again, though, I do not say live executions on stream. That is purely for Discord, but I will let you guys eventually know. See, if you were to take ES as well, you could do your stop at the low, and then you could target a 2R on this trade. This could be a potential long signature, but we did create a very nice New York Open expansion, expecting to see some type of retrace into the EQ of this previous 5 minute, forming the wick. Do you look at YM? I should. I don't look at YM often, to be honest, Zane. I'm not too big of a YM fan, if I'm going to be so real with you. I should, because I know YM has been crazy for some of the trading boys recently. So maybe I'll have to eventually bite the bullet and look into YM a little more. Looking to see how this 5 minute reacts. I would ideally, I like CL, but not really. I like CL now, but not really an entry. Yeah. Ideally, yeah. I mean, CL gold here. Yep, we're getting the bearish into that fair value. CL here does want to go lower into these. There we go, as expected on CL here too. Nice hourly bearish signature. NAS here, there's the retrace. I want to really see a retrace into the 50%. So if I want to map this out for you guys as well, 50% would look something like this, right? I would like to see us respect the EQ of that previous 5, causing the wick before we see the expansion. Then an entry could be taken off of that. So this is what I'm watching right now. How's the audio now though, guys? Can you hear me well? I literally have my microphone to my face. So I'm hoping I sound decent for the huzzes in chat right now. There's the retrace that we were looking for here. Okay, and I'm in on ES off that retrace. I am in on ES off that retrace. Correct. Targeting 2R on this trade. I am on ES. I'm managing my risk by putting my stop at the candle body low of this bearish SIST instead of the candle wick low. I managed to grab 64.3250 as my entry into this retrace here. So now I am in. Once again, guys, live executions are not on live just because I do want to be protected for financial purposes. Keep in mind these are educational streams. This is not financial advice. This is just me going through my trading process. I am in on these ES longs right now. I am currently in. So now I'm sitting back in the saddle right now, guys. Ideally, what I would like to see is I am going to be taking a partial on ES here. This is our major draw on liquidity, which is smack dab in the middle, almost 1R here. So we'll mark this out as our X, and I'm going to just put this as my partial plus break even. So if I see a candle body closure above this high, I'm going to be taking one partial once we tap it, and then moving my stop to break even, so this becomes a risk-free trade. Looks like the bias so far is working in my favor. 20 seconds, would ideally like to see this close very bullish. Jesus, it is all in the description of the video. Whew, I'm like out of breath, guys. I'm really sorry for the low energy on this stream. I'm feeling a little iffy. Here we are. That's the 5-minute closure, exactly what I wanted to see on ES here. Probably going to retrace, see some expansion higher. I am in on ES currently with 2 minis only on this trade. Once again, not as heavy size as usual, but we do tap this high, this draw, and I will be looking to scale one of the 2 out and moving my stop to break even. That is my current. Now we just sit back and relax a little bit. There we go. Nice retrace. Retrace into a pop. I didn't get filled again. Mahi, am I being baited today? I don't know why you're chasing the setup. If you miss the entry, there's no reason to chase it. That's exactly how people blow accounts. Ah, what the hell? What the hell? So, alright, let's look at this now proper. There's the retrace that I wanted on both ES and NQ. Ideally, we'd like to see 10 a.m. expand higher as well. But once again, we tap at this draw, and I will be taking one partial out here, setting my stops to break even. And if I get stopped to break even, so be it. It'll be a minor win for the day. Exactly what I thought. Yeah, Mahi, if you're chasing it, you're already, what, 6 points behind on the fill, so it would not be, on ES, that would not be worth it. Zero reason to rush that. If you guys haven't already, though, feel free to like the stream if you enjoy kind of my tape reading process here. Be sure to like it. Helps me out a lot, guys. Defined risk. If we pull back into the EQ here and we're in drawdown, so be it. That's all part of the game. Risk has been set. Whatever happens, happens. I'm comfortable if this becomes a loss, and I'm happy if this becomes a winner. Got 3 minutes to this 5-minute closure here. Literally just going to sit back now and answer some questions from you guys in chat while I wait for this to play out. Yeah, just gonna wait for the 4 hour I think is a very, very smart idea. There's zero reason why you should be rushing and chasing entries. Looks like Naz is going to take out the draw first before ES here, based on what I'm seeing. We will have to wait and see, though. We will have to wait and see. How are we all doing in chat, though? What's some of the goals for this week? Do you only trade NQ and ES, or do you also look at gold futures? I mean, I do look at gold futures. I also look at crude futures. Gold here gave me the bearish perspective like I mentioned, and we are doing exactly that. We are pulling right back into the previous massive, massive fair value gap. Loyalty family, great question. I'm actually about to be releasing a video on that. So I would love to, but I'm going to just have the video speak the magic there. I have a video releasing relatively soon. All right, we have no crazy impact news for the rest of the week. We have Fed Bark and speech. So we should be chilling. Nothing else for the rest of today. Massive bearish leg back into this EQ here. Let's see what happens. Wonder why we're seeing this. It looks like we might get tapped out here. Okay. That is a tap out. Jeez Louise. No news data here, and that was an aggressive bearish 5-minute. All right, stop that on this as well. Invalidation of the trade. What was the massive 5-minute? Let's see if we respect the EQ again. All right, so be it. That happens. Does anybody know if there was news data released? There's no reason why we should have had that aggressive valid loss. Yeah, completely valid. All part of the game, predetermined risk. We are super fine. Predetermined risk, all good. We invalidated the change in state of delivery by stopping out the previous low that was formed. Looks like we are going to get a revalidation of that previous hourly equilibrium too, but this surmise is a valid loss. I'm just not sure why the 5-minute was so aggressive there. That was the end of the 5-minute that just had such an aggressive leg lower. I really don't know why. I'm a little dazed and confused. All right, well, invalidation of that trade, all good. No news, coincided with Trump news, probably coincided with Trump news. Considering lawsuit against Powell over Fed building costs. That would be it. Thanks for checking that. That would probably be it. So invalidation through Trump news on the trade. In my eyes, I thought I would have taken that setup 100 out of 100 times. So I can't complain. It's a valid loss. Not a super crazy big one either. I was in with two. Yeah, yes, Trump news. Touched yesterday high reverse. I mean, yeah, touched yesterday high, but didn't even get to the draws of today. So I don't think it's from yesterday's highs. I think it's purely just an invalidation through news data. And what I'm seeing right now is that seems to be exactly the case. All right, well, invalidation here. Looks like we might get another respected move higher, but hey, invalidation, that is all good. Happens. Right from high of the month for NQ. Yeah. Still have SMT at these lows still, so I'm curious to see if we can get a revalidation of this trade. A bit unfortunate though that Trump news stopped us out there. I could have honestly been better and I don't know, put my stop at the actual SIST low, but I mean, hey, beggars can't be choosers, guys. It is all good. Is there a delay on YouTube? I'm sure there's a small delay on YouTube. Yeah, I couldn't tell you for sure, but I'm sure there's a little delays that occur. All right. Well, that is an acceptable loss in my eyes. Not going to complain, right? That is an acceptable loss. Yes, but there's always small delay, 6, 7 seconds. Thank you guys. How often do you live stream like this? Powerful stuff. Mario, hoping to do more live streams. I've just been traveling, as I've mentioned, so probably we'll do. I'm gonna shoot for 3 YouTube lives a week, and then I'll be doing the rest via Discord. But yeah, all good, guys. Honestly, Trump news really affected that. Looks like now we're gonna get a bearish signature since we are now officially in discount. If this 5 minute closes below, as I mentioned on my higher time frame analysis, I can anticipate that we are probably going to resweep these draws from these London lows and also this draw here on 23,596. Not interested in shorts though. You guys know I'm just kind of exhausted today and in some pain, so we are just going to. Please never leave Europe. I've been loving your London sessions. Totally normal. Every live stream has this. Yeah, awesome. I mean, you genuinely could not have predicted that. Yeah, so that's why I consider that. I also just consider it an acceptable loss, even if it wasn't through news, because in my eyes, this was a good setup, right? So I'm gonna have to recap this, as you guys know, full transparency for everything. If I take a loss, I report my loss. So that for me is an acceptable loss. That's so funny that you like I'm glad you like my streams that much though. I've been having a lot of fun with my London sessions. This and that media. I'll make sure I do more London session for you. Good setup, good trade, good loss. Exactly, right? We've been on a heater recently, so I can't complain. Part of the process. Honestly, it might even just be I'll wait until 10 a.m., but I think I'm just going to do a one and done trade for me today. Based on the situation I'm in right now, not really feeling, especially with the rib pain, not really feeling like wanting to take a second trade. So I think we're just going to accept the loss and carry on. But I'll answer a couple questions here. Yep, now we're going to get a continuation lower, it seems. So yeah, definitely I would recommend for those of you that are just popping into the stream, watch my pre-market analysis from today. I think that might really help you guys gain an understanding for what I'm looking at. Historically as well, the past I'll actually go through some fun data for you guys in a sec. I'll go through a couple questions. Do you do live YT session, YT London session? Would you guys be interested in me live trading London session? Who would genuinely be interested in that? Hey, what's up? What's up, Dumbo? I always love the name when you come in. 100 points, sign me up. Yum. There you go. There you go. Yes, sir. Me. All right, I'll do some London streams then. Oh, wow, we got quite a few of you interested in London streams. All right, well, that's good to know. So I'll definitely do some London streams for all of you. I'll do London and New York. I'd prefer New York, yeah. Me saying I'm streaming London doesn't mean I'm going to not stream New York, by the way. Just letting you guys know. 100% interested? All right, looks like everybody, yeah, to the New York folks in chat, I'm letting you know that that doesn't mean that we're not going to be trading New York. It just means I'm going to be trading London as well. My London streams are a lot shorter as well. I'm typically only trading London, enter a position, and if I take a loss, I take a loss. So it'll be more like give you guys my rundown, my game plan for London, and then we'll enter a position and probably end the stream and just let it play out, since London is a much slower moving session. When you are back to 100% London for sure, yeah. We'll definitely, yeah, once I'm healed a bit. I'm a little, still quite injured. Leo, action in the morning could not get better start to the day. All right, sweet. Sounds incredible. UK appreciates you. Hey, I'll be in the UK on the 24th of August. So, yeah, I'll give a heads up, Peter. I'll give a heads up on my Twitter as well as on Discord. So, stay tuned on the Twitter if you haven't, and I'll have all my updates there. Rumor has it Leo makes London session move. You're so funny. He cooks London. I've been cooking London. Mind explaining how you would approach 50K funding tickets challenge to payout? Yeah, loyalty family. What's the drawdown on the 50K? Is it 2K? Is it 2K drawdown, 3K profit on the 50K funding ticks? I haven't been looking at funding ticks too much, since I just do Apex and Top Step right now, and I have my funded future. I just bought 250Ks. Hell yeah. There we go. We'll take that. So yeah, you'll see here, what happened, took an L? Yeah, I took an L. We got an invalidation from Trump news on this trade, so not super in my control, but that's okay. It's a valid loss in my eyes. 2K drawdown, 2.5K target. Oh, sweet. Honestly, how I would approach it, never touch a mini. If you have a 2K drawdown, don't touch a mini. There's zero reason why you should be touching a mini when you have a 2K drawdown, unless the risk on that trade is less than 500. Like I would do $300, $400 risk per trade, aiming to make 600 to 800. That should be ideal. It depends on how confident you are. If you don't have a predefined system as well as predefined risk management, there's no reason why you should be risking anything above 1/3 of your drawdown on a trade, right? You're trying to give yourself as many opportunities that if you take a losing trade, you're able to bring it back. So ideally on 50Ks, and this goes for most of you in 50Ks, trade micros, trade a couple micros, build consistency. As you see more consistency and you build on more size on an account, that's when you can slowly start to size in heavier. But 50Ks are typically a danger zone, and I would not recommend trading minis if you are on a 50K. Yeah, Trump news is what stopped me out on the position. If it's not a secret, do you make 5 figures plus with your strategy? Rage. Am I still crazy for wanting to short? Not crazy. Just getting a retrace into the SIST. I do rage. Yes, I do. I do. I trade personal and fundeds. Yoga Konarena, how's it going? Good seeing you. It's been a minute. Hope you're doing fantastic. Yeah, Trump news is what stopped me out. This is pretty interesting too, guys. Wait, for fun, we're going to go through a quick session. This trade obviously is pulling EQ, but look at this. Hold up. Peep this. Historically, from the past 6 months of data, let's do the past 3 months. This is a site called Edgeful. Past 3 months of data. Let's see what typically Wednesdays are doing with ES as well. Past 3 months, ES in specific, the asset that I took the loss on today, has a 53.85% chance of going red. SMA performance, power hour breakout, outside days, or the opening range breakout as well. Let's peep this on ES as well. What do we see happening? We have a breakdown, we do, And so 25% of the time when we get a breakout of the orb on ES, we see it retrace to the nice. Very, very nice. We'll go through some data while I'm what took the L and CL? Yeah. What's your win rate? It fluctuates. It's anywhere. I mean, right now I'm anywhere between the 64 to 72%. CPI cooked the entire day PA. I mean, that's classic, right? Yeah, Dumbo, we did see the news on Powell. Super funny. Of course, right? Yep, there was a retrace. Now we're seeing a continuation lower. Yeah, let's do some data backing up. So high and low by weekday as well. Like, look at this, guys. If we look at the high and lows by weekdays on ES in the past 3 months too, Tuesday, typically highest high of the week, was formed the 46.15% of the time on a Friday, with the lowest percent being 30.77. One of my favorite ones, though, in inside bars, as well as fair values too on ES, guys. We have plenty of platforms and data. So this is from previous 3 months here on Edgefold, but if we look at fair values, unmitigated was 50% of these bullish fair values and 50%. So we see that in the past 3 months of data. We could do even more data if we want, but this would be cool. Like if we look at our initial balance breakout and our gap fills too, and our opening range breakouts. So here with our gap fill as well, what do we see? We formed, if we don't pay attention to, like if we use pre-market and post-market as our gap, 63% of the time ES always fills a gap up, and 55% of the time it fills a gap down. And so with ES today, as you guys know, pre-New York, if we were not to use extended trading sessions, I did regular trading hours, and we did use that. Currently, ES did have a gap up, right? We did have a gap up on ES here. So what are we seeing with this gap up on ES? And I'm just going to mark this as a fair value. This is our gap up. Data says, I'll show the gap up in a second. 55% of the time in the past 3 months, we've seen ES fill the gap. And 1 month, let's do some analysis on the 1 month. The past 1 month, what does percentage look like in the past 1 month? It's taking a second to load here. That's just on my end. That is the Wi-Fi. In the past 1 month, wow, gap down, 50% gap up, 68% of the time it was filled on ES. So let's open up the charts now. If we go back to NQ and yes, we see NQ had this gap up. ES also did have this gap up here, and we see that because ES did have this gap up during these regular trading hours, what are we seeing happening? Well, we are seeing that it is retracing into the gap that was caused from today. So pretty insane stuff, like data lined in with confluence here. But I was hoping to get that 2R before I saw that bear sentiment. But that is all part of the process, guys, you know. 10 a.m. is in 1 minute as well. Hoping for a test of 9 a.m. EQ, and at 10, then we carry lower. I mean, yeah, at this point, we're now in discount, so I'm anticipating that we do continue lower here. This is not a fair value as well, by the way, guys. My apologies. This is our gap up on NAS. Yeah, definitely wait for 10 a.m. Yeah, so data is telling us that 68% of the time this past month, ES has filled any gap it's created during outside hours, so not during live market hours, which is pretty insane. So data does not lie. Yeah, honestly, guys, I think I'm just going to hop off the charts. This might just be a very quick stream for myself, unlike me usually, but 42 minutes, I'd consider that or 45 minutes for the stream. We'll take that. What did Trump do? He's filing a lawsuit against Powell, so that caused the market to stop me out of my trade. Now we are continuing lower. So unfortunate, that's a loss in the day, but honestly, guys, probably just going to call it here. Keep a very, very simple trading day, one loss on today, and call it a day, because no reason for me to be forcing any trade setups, not in the mindset to carry on with more trades. So probably will be ending the stream here then, guys. If you haven't already, feel free to like the stream. We still need to book the call. Yes, we do. We do. Shoot me a message about that and we'll get that sorted. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to be ending here, guys. It was lovely once again, and I will catch you all very, very soon. Thank you all once again. Stay tuned for more. Ciao, ciao.